What's good? So UFC Fight Night just finished. Usman versus Buckley, and honestly, it was kind of a boring fight night. I can't even lie. I can't even lie. But I was excited about the main event. I'm a big Kamaru Usman fan, my favorite fighter of all time, and he got the dub like how I said he would. Don't doubt me. I went 9-3 on my picks. But we're not talking about my picks. We're talking about what's next, and what's next is let's see what's up with Kamaru Usman and the rest of the card. So we'll be talking about a couple of fights. We're not keep talking about what's her name, fucking Miss Pop That Pussy is or whatever her name was that lost in the first fight of the card. No, we're gonna be talking about some interesting fighters, some fighters that won, some fighters that lost. We're gonna be talking about most fighters on the main card, and let's just get started. So let's go ahead and start off with the first fighter that we need to talk about. Let's see. Bellato. Put the fries in the bag, man. This guy really faked being knocked out on an up kick. That was crazy against Paul Craig. It's time to put the fries in the bag. It's over. It's over. Honestly, he should be cut from the UFC. At first, it was with the STD that he had to pull out the fight in his last fight, and then they brought him back. They were just like, we'll give you another chance. You know what I'm saying? Fakes an up kick in the first round, or fakes being knocked out from an up kick in the first round, ruins the fight. He tried putting out a statement saying like, "Oh, I was complaining, and then I started blacking out or whatever." No, you intentionally faked the fight. I feel like it's blasphemous for the UFC to keep him on the roster. He faked being knocked out to try to get a DQ win. That's insane, bro. That's literally insane. It's time to put the fries in the bag, get a job application. Start working at McDonald's. I'll see you there. Anyways. Let's move on to the next fighter. Let's talk about Paul Craig. Paul Craig, a fortunate situation, up kick, fake KO, you know what I'm talking about. But I feel like he should face Navajo Sterling. Maybe he could be on the prelims, maybe the prelim main event of the UFC card with JDM and Islam on it. Because Navajo Sterling's from New Zealand. He's on a nice little winning streak. Paul Craig. He moves in between middleweight and light heavyweight division, and I feel like this will be an interesting fight. Paul Craig's just that gatekeeper that can fraud check people that aren't deserving of a ranking spot or being in the top 20, top 25 of the rankings of each division. Well, maybe not in the light heavyweight division. There's very few good light heavyweights, but yeah, I feel like this will be an interesting fight. This will be a good fight. It'll really test Navajo Sterling, seeing if he can jump up to the next level. Like I said, just put him on the card as JDM, Islam, maybe Volk, whoever he faces. Hopefully it's Evloev. But yeah, it just makes sense. It all lines up. Anyways, let's go and move on. Paul Craig didn't take any damage from that fight either, so they can honestly fight quicker if they want to too. So let's go ahead and move on. Malcolm Wellmaker. Insane KO. I've heard people talk about this fight. Adrian Yanez versus Malcolm Wellmaker. This fight will be a banger, bro. Malcolm Wellmaker, up-and-coming prospect, looks unstoppable so far. That right hook has a fucking dynamite in his hands. It's insane. Adrian Yanez used to be a big up-and-comer, got a little bit of fraud trick, but he's on a nice little win streak right now. I feel like this will be a nice jump up in competition for Wellmaker. And Yanez, he struggles in the grappling, so this would for sure be a stand-up fight. I feel like this could be dynamite. This could be possibly fight of the night of whatever card it's going to be on. This fight would be insane. Almost a guaranteed KO either way. This is honestly a fight that I would look forward to if the UFC makes it. Honestly, they should make it. There's no better fight for Wellmaker to take as of right now. Right? It's he has 3 knockouts in a row, 2 in the UFC, all in the first round. It's insane. Adrian Yanez again has been in that position before. I feel like this fight will be insane, and this is something I want to see. Come on, Dana. You got to put this on. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on. Michael Chiesa, Gilbert Burns. Michael Chiesa got another crafty win. He's on a nice little winning streak on a little bit of a run. Granted, the win was kind of boring. Like I said, this card was boring besides Wellmaker. It may be the main event. the card was kind of boring. A lot of decisions, a lot of boring fights. But anyways, let's talk about Michael Chiesa. He's on a nice little winning streak. Nothing really too impressive. Started off with Tony Ferguson, got 3 wins in a row now. Gilbert Burns is on a little losing streak. Honestly, this is kind of a matchup more in favor of Gilbert Burns. Kind of a way to get him back on a winning streak, back back in the win column, I should say, not on a winning streak. We all like Gilbert Burns. We all want Gilbert Burns to win. Michael Chiesa, he honestly deserves to be up there, fight in the rankings now after his winning streak. And I feel like this will be a pretty okay fight, a pretty grappling heavy fight. Has the potential to really stink up the card, has the real potential to be boring, but I feel like Gilbert Burns could get this done real quick as well. See, this is really a test to see if Gilbert Burns is really washed or if he's just facing great up-and-comers. But yeah, Michael Chiesa, Gilbert Burns. Let's just make it happen. Maybe be a co-main event on a fight night card or something like that. Maybe an opener too. No, don't make it an opener too. If it's gonna be on a pay-per-view, make it in the prelims. As sad as it is, Gilbert Burns, you're not gonna be on a pay-per-view. You're facing Michael Chiesa. Michael Chiesa. We're talking about Michael Chiesa. Oh my. Gilbert, I need you to win this. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, let's move on. Cody Garbrandt. Yes. Sadly, our guy Cody Garbrandt lost. We all wanted him to win. In the first round, he looked pretty impressive. He looked like his old self, but then after a while, he kind of slowed down a little bit. Started getting a little. I don't know if he was gassed. He didn't really look gassed out. That's the thing. It just looked like he got shot heavy. It looked like if he could have put him down in the first round, he just kind of tried to coast a victory after the first round. It was a close fight. Don't get me wrong. It was a pretty close fight, but I do think Cody Garbrandt lost. And speaking of someone that lost to Barcelos, right? Yeah. Speaking of someone that lost to Barcelos, Peyton Talbot, another striker. Honestly, just booked this fight. Two of the biggest fan favorites in the UFC bantamweight division that are outside of the top 15. Both of them lost to Barcelos in their most recent fights. I know Peyton Talbot might have a fight coming up, or he does have a fight booked. But win or lose, which I think he's going to win, this is an easy way to, I guess, kind of pass the torch. If Peyton Talbot wins, then he defeats a big name in Cody Garbrandt, a former champion. You can go ahead and start the hype train over again and have him move up the division and try to fight in the top 15 after this, or maybe get one more fight and then go into the top 15. Cody Garbrandt, if he gets a win, he defeats an uppercomer. He proves that he still has it a little bit, and he can try to get a couple wins in a row. Maybe try to get back in the top 15 after this. But good thing is that they both don't have to worry about the wrestling. So this will be a stand up and bang fight, guaranteed KO. So this is a fight that to me it's a no brainer. It's a no brainer. Two of the biggest fan favorites. You just have to make this fight. And let's go into the next one. Speaking of Barcelos, I feel like you should face the loser of Kyler Phillips and Vinicius Oliveira. You know what I'm saying? I know he fought. I think he fought Kyler Phillips. Maybe he also fought Oliveira, if I'm not mistaken. But I know he for sure fought one of them before. But that was a couple years ago. Barcelos seems to be on a nice little win streak, defeating some fan favorites, beating a former champion in Cody Garbrandt, and then also defeating hyped up-and-comer in Peyton Talbot. I feel like it deserves the chance at the rankings. Looking up the rankings, there's not really much going on. Phillips and Oliveira are fighting soon, so the timeline adds up. If he faces a loser, it'll possibly boost him into the top 15. If not, then give him a prime shot into maybe like fighting a number 12, number 11 fighter in the UFC. Yeah, I just feel like this makes sense. Timeline adds up. Everything adds up. Barcelos does deserve to fight either in the top 15 or very close to the top 15. And yeah, and I feel like, again, he should face the loser. It doesn't matter if one of them's a rematch. Like I said, it was a couple years ago. Barcelos has just seemed to improve, just seemed to put on a nice little resume for himself, and just keeps on fighting and just keeps on winning. That's really all it is. So I feel like he should face the loser of Phillips and Oliveira. And yeah, let's just move on and fuck this little guy, bro, defeating all the fan favorites. Anyways, Petrosky in such a boring fight. Honestly, really didn't do anything in this fight. Um, just feed him an up and comer in Cesar Almeida. I know, not a young up and comer for sure, but Cesar Almeida has a little bit of hype to him. Has possibly a top 3 KO of the year so far with his KO on, I believe it was on the first card of the year. If I'm not mistaken. If not, then it's one of the earlier cards of the year where it was a nice little comeback KO. Knocked him out cold, and yeah, he has a nice little hype behind him. Petrosky again just didn't really do anything in this fight. He didn't utilize his wrestling. He didn't really do too much. With what he could have, he just looked kind of slow, kind of gun shy, kind of like he didn't want to get hurt, basically. And I feel like at this point, just as a little bit of punishment, he has to fight down the rankings, fight an hyped up and comer that has a little bit of hype behind him. A great kickboxer in Cesar Almeida. I feel like this will be an interesting fight. It'll be a chance to show if Cesar Almeida can defend the takedowns, can be able to move up the division and fight someone like a Petrosky and defend takedowns and be able to hold his own against a pretty dominant wrestler. But yeah, I feel like this is the fight to make. I don't know if Almeida's going to book a fight soon. Petrosky does fought, but he didn't really take any damage. No one in that fight really took any damage. So again, it just kind of makes sense. I feel like the timelines can add up. Honestly, they could probably fight within a couple months, to be honest. But let's go ahead and move on to Shabazian versus Joe Pyfer, the Battle of the Gingers. So originally, before today, I was going to do Shabazian versus Rusaboyev, but Rusaboyev just got booked for a fight. I believe it's on the DDP Shamaev card. But yeah, I think this is just for the middleweight division. It's the only fight that really makes sense. Both of them just fought within the past 2 weeks. Both of them are coming off of wins. Joe Pyfer didn't really look too impressive beating Kevin Gastelum. In the first round, he looked like he was going to dominate the fight, but then after he slowed down and even could have lost the decision to Kevin Gastelum. I don't think he did, but it was cutting very close. Shabazian just looked, like, I'm not going to say he looked bad out there. He was able to stop the takedowns. He was able to hold his own, use his length as an advantage, and was able to kind of piece him up. Granted, it was a boring fight, but usually Shabazian has some pretty entertaining fights. I feel like a Joe Pyfer Shabazian fight would be fireworks. I feel like it's, again, a guaranteed KO. Joe Pyfer has that unstoppable power. Joe Pyfer's really good in the division with his pound for pound power. And Shabazian is a great striker. I feel like, again, this will just be an entertaining fight. Maybe you could put this as like a prelim headliner in maybe a card. Honestly, you know what needs help? Never mind. We're going to get to that in another video. But the Holloway Poirier fight card needs help for sure. Maybe you could put this even as like the main card opener for sure. Because again, Shabazian didn't take any much damage. Pyfer, I don't know if he needs some time off. I don't know what kind of injuries he's had. That fight, he definitely took more damage than Shabazian in his win. But yeah, I feel like this will be an entertaining fight, and this is one that the UFC definitely needs to look into, especially since everybody else around that area within the top 20, top 15 already has a fight booked. So this is really the only one that kind of makes sense. Next, Miranda Maverick versus Wang Kong. Come on, don't tell me I'm not cooking, right? Miranda Maverick just took a loss to Rose Namajunas. She was fighting up in the division. Now I believe she has to fight down. Wang Kong just got a great win this past couple weeks ago. Yeah, she looks impressive. She looks powerful. She looks strong. She looks like she could be a force in the division for years to come. A great way to enter her in the top 15 is against Miranda Maverick, just coming off a loss. Honestly, Miranda Maverick looked okay in the card. Her striking didn't look very good though, which is why I think Wang Kong could really win this fight if she's able to defend the takedowns and see if her cardio can hold up. But Miranda Maverick, she looked pretty decent in the grappling. She was able to take Rose down. Even almost got a great submission on Rose Namajunas in the second round. It was a close fight. It honestly was a pretty close fight. But I believe this fight is the fight to make. Wayne Kong has some hype behind her. She's a great striker in the women's division, and I believe that this would be a pretty decent fight. We're able to see where Wayne Kong is in the UFC in the women's division, and Miranda Maverick again, like, she's coming off a loss. She needs to fight down the division, and this is really a fight that makes sense to me. So let's go ahead and move on. Rose Namajunas, Alexa Grasso, two former champions, two fighters that I'm not going to say are washed. Rose has definitely taken a step back. Alexa Grasso seems to have taken a step back coming off of 2 losses in a row. Rose Namajunas is just got her win back. It's back in the winning column. It makes sense. Rose needs to fight up in the division. She lost to a couple people in front of her. Alexa Grasso just lost twice in a row to the champ Shevchenko and to Natalia Silva. This fight makes sense. This is honestly one of the few women's fights that I would be okay with having on the main card. Two very hyped fighters, two former champions duking it out. I feel like this will be an entertaining fight. This will actually garner some hype behind it. And this isn't a fight that I'm mad at. This, again, Rose is ranked number 6 in the division. Alexa Grasso is ranked, I believe, number 2. It makes sense. It makes sense. It really does. So I believe this is the fight to make in the women's division. And yeah, especially since the division's going to be held up for a little bit, because I believe Shevchenko is going to be fighting Zhang Weili next, or at least should fight Zhang Weili. In the future, in the near future, I'm going to be making a match card video for the rest of the cards of the year, and I'm really excited to show y'all that. But yeah, I believe this is going to be an entertaining fight. Maybe you could do it as a main event of a fight night as well. And yeah, again, I believe that if I see this as a main event of a fight night, I wouldn't dread watching it. That's all I'm saying. So let's get to the main event. This next fight, Joaquin Buckley. I cooked with this one. I really did. And I haven't really been seeing people talk about this. Come on. You can't tell me this ain't fireworks, bro. Joaquin Buckley versus Michael Morales. Michael Morales, still undefeated inside the UFC. Is looking very impressive after his dominant victory against Gilbert Burns in a first round KO. Joaquin Buckley was on a very impressive run towards the title. Just lost to Kamaru Usman. There's really no shame in that. His wrestling looked a little sus. And someone that won't wrestle is Michael Morales. We all know that. Michael Morales won't wrestle. Both are very powerful. Both are very explosive. Coming off a loss, Joaquin Buckley needs to fight down in the division, since I don't believe he should be able to fight up. Maybe an other fight I can see is maybe Shavkat, but I don't really think that's the fight to make within both of them, especially Joaquin Buckley coming off a loss. But Michael Morales looks impressive. Joaquin Buckley looked very impressive in his other fights. Even in the last round against Kamaru Usman, he was piecing him up. I was so nervous watching that last round, especially that last minute. I was so scared. I was so nervous for Kamaru, but he got it done. And honestly, there's no shade. Joaquin Buckley again. If the 5th round, Joaquin Buckley showed up throughout the whole fight, he would have won pretty easily against Kamaru. So I believe Joaquin Buckley and Michael Morales would be fireworks. Guaranteed knockout. Bro, you can't tell me I'm not cooking with these picks. Guaranteed knockouts back to back to back. Oh, I'm cooking. But Michael Morales, Joaquin Buckley, I believe is the fight to make. Headline of fight night. Maybe have it at a very stacked opener to a card. Maybe even a feature fight to a pay-per-view. Who knows? Honestly, this is a fight that you can really put anywhere and people are going to tune in. This is just such an entertaining fight. This is one I really want to see. And of course, in the main event, it's pretty obvious. Kamaru Usman versus Bilal Muhammad. They have beef. There's that podcast episode that has been released that has been talked about as if it's like a fucking lost treasure of Atlantis or something. they have beef. They don't like each other. This just makes sense. Bilal's just lost the title. Kamaru Usman's calling for a title. I don't. As much as I love Kamaru Usman, and I can understand where he's coming from, he's getting up there in age. He just wants a chance at the title before he can't fight anymore. But I don't believe he deserves it. I believe the winner of Sean Brady. Ooh, ignore that voice crack. I believe the winner of Sean Brady, Ian Gary, deserves the title. And if you beat Bilal Muhammad, who was the last champion, you deserve the title shot. Does it not make sense? So I believe that the winner of this could, maybe not Bilal Muhammad, but if Kamaru Usman wins this, he gets a shot at the title. He gets a shot at the title, and it's a very obvious fight to make. Put this as a 5-round co-main event to a pay-per-view. Honestly, put this in the Saudi Arabia card that they're gonna do at the end of October, since they always do that card. Have Alex Pineda, Buckley Ankalaev main event. Have this be the co-main event. It makes a lot of sense to me, and this needs to be a 5-round fight. Honestly, UFC, you can't fumble this. I know you've been fumbling in the past. Please don't fumble this fight. It makes sense. But hey, let me know what y'all think about my picks. Be tuned to stay tuned for more. I'm gonna have my fight picks out for the Jamal Hill, Khalil Roundtree card coming out soon. And yeah, I'll see y'all.